I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
We are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we are watching My Hero Academia, Season 6, Episode 19. Our Hero Academia.
Our Hero Academia.
Last
The
episode,
final act.
we got a pretty crazy sequence inside of One for All. Something that I think everybody, including myself, has been waiting for since the early seasons of the show, especially in Season 2, once we see Deku looking at all the symbolism of the past holders during the tournament arc, and you can kind of see all the colors and everything like that, and the vestiges peeking out, and it's crazy that we're here. We're here, the final arc, the final part, right? We got a little bit of N last episode, got to meet him, and well, we kind of got to meet him.
Kind
right?
of.
But
you loved his character design.
It's just so good. I want to learn more about him. I want to hear more about him. It's an interesting point we're at because we kind of got introduced to two others who didn't really talk much, who weren't, backing the whole idea that Deku was putting himself forward as.
At least that was our guess.
Yeah.
They weren't cooperating. They were in timeout.
But it makes me feel like we're going to probably visit that vestige world more often now than we used to visit
Or at least have more contact directly with different past holders.
Yeah, but Midoriya's left. He's left behind notes as well for everybody except maybe Bakugo. In my headcanon, Bakugo's like, psh, I didn't want a letter anyway.
I wanted to bring that up because I don't think you see Shoto or Tokoyami.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, if you think of which members of the school of this class would be immediately working with heroes, it would be Tokoyami with Hawks, and then Shoto with his dad, and then Bakugo with Best Jeanist.
Yeah.
So I'm under the impression possibly that they are also going to be leaving the school and working, and or just more involved.
Interesting.
Like Deku's going to be.
That'd be a pretty cool route. I love Tokoyami's character, and I know we get to see him a lot more than, previously, but he's just so cool. I want to see him even more. I also want to see if and when the class sees Midoriya again, I'd love to see Shoto and Ida's conversation with Midoriya, because I could see a similar parallel drawn back to the end of Season 2 with Stain and Ida, especially because Stain's on the loose, I don't know.
And a mysterious villain that we also have yet to meet.
Yeah.
We have a lot to look forward to.
We do have a lot to look forward to. My last, I guess, point or question is, what would Stain think of what Midoriya's decisions have been in the past few weeks? Who knows? Maybe we'll see. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Okay, that was My Hero Academia, Season 6, Episode 19. Man, when you bring in Midoriya's mom, throw me flashbacks of All Might's promise to her, and then show me All Might crying. God damn it, dude. Like you're killing me.
Seeing All Might's consciousness that's inside One for All, crying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this just, there's something about it. Like, having it now in this episode right after that. We saw him cry there. He's just a part of him crying. And now in this episode, the episode right after, we get him actually crying.
It's crazy. In the intro, I posed what do you think he'll be able to save people with a smile on his face? And without any lines, it feels about that. It feels like Deku might be thinking this isn't the time for it, right? If I give smiles to those who I help right now, it might fall like it might come off as cheap or like forceful, right? Mm. Like, we need to capture as many prisoners as we can right now so that when that battle comes again, All for One won't have as much in his back pocket or on the field.
It seems like his focus is not boosting morale through being kind of a showboat hero. It's just getting the work done and not even being recognized for it.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants to get in and out, like, save the people. That's all the focus. That's all he's like they are trained to, pick out a costume that's recognizable and, can become almost like an idol where they'll make action figures of you. You have to be a people person in order to get endorsement and more money in this world. And now that whole society has collapsed.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, do you think that this is the right way to go about it in terms of hope? Because it's not like you're masking your identity so that the general public thinks a bunch of different heroes are arresting, villains that have escaped, because it's the same MO every time. So it's like almost that there's this unknown vigilante whose identity you don't know, but all you know is that there's somebody working in the shadows that you have no knowledge of, really, and they are putting away prisoners. Is that gonna instill like a sense of hope and like fight?
What I think is interesting is that normally Deku is a very hopeful
Yeah.
character, and also a character that wishes to instill hope in others. And now we have this total tonal change, which I think is more matter of fact. Like, he's more focused on kind of the outcome and not how people feel about it. It's like the feelings, maybe it is important to him, but it used to be like, oh, I'm like all these speeches or these really grand things he would say about saving others. And, he even last episode, I'm gonna save that boy, something along those lines. And it's like now in this episode, he's just like war torn, just very like
Ragged.
He's just gonna get down to business and nothing else matters. He just captured Muscular, and he
one-shotted Muscular.
And then he immediately jumps back into action because danger sense. It's like he's just do it. Like,
so I wonder if it's like, since it's a villain not only that he's fought before, but who has been deemed a prisoner, then he is he is very quick to, why are you doing this? I heard your reasoning. I know you're evil. I'm gonna end this shit as quick as possible, and just, not give you any satisfaction.
That is interesting, that obviously how he treats a certain villain or criminal changes depending on if he's met them before and knows why they do things.
Yeah.
And then also it would kind of help how he would go about his harshness.
Well, it's like, while he's previously, I got the impression that, like, while you're fighting these, like, incredibly strong villains, you are doing so while instilling or shouting out your values and your beliefs and why you're saving these people and why their actions are so heinous. But now it's like, the time for talk's over.
Well, we get his silence in both like audio experience with Deku now. When he did full cowling, he said it in this tone that was just very like, what's the word? When it's like monotone, it's just very like, low and quiet. And there wasn't all these extra sounds going on. It just happened, and the rest of the world was silent.
It's so powerful. Like, it's interesting because Deku's come so far that I would be worried that since he's come so far, it wouldn't like make me feel like comforting when I see him being like portrayed as that like confident character now. But when he was comforting his mom in the like hospital bed, there was something like about the look, like the way he was drawn, that I was like, holy shit, this is like a completely different person. Or like years and years of growth has happened in such a short period of time for him, because it's necessary.
It gives a similar feeling of comfort, taking on responsibility, sharing of the burden, coming into your own, growing, as like the Todoroki family conversation that we got like 2 episodes ago. There was this feeling with Shoto, like, we get Hawks looking at him being like, you're so cool. There's this feeling that I think is similar to both of those characters right now, that like, wow, like people are gonna start looking at them like they can actually, like, they're not just kids anymore.
Yeah.
And that they can be trusted to fight. Deku hasn't changed too far. I mean, he's still not going to be killing. He still didn't kill Muscular. He got him to the police station. So there's definitely a change in his tone, but not a complete change in his actions and his beliefs, which is good.
I'm so glad, dude, that we got Shindo and Nakagame back. Like,
Mhm.
I was kind of like, I'm wondering what's the guy's name who has the tornado quirk? Like, it's been so long,
It's
you
been
know.
so
But
long.
he like I've always been like, oh, what's he up to? So it was cool that we got Shindo to come back here. When I first watched My Hero Academia, I think it was in dub, and I'm pretty sure Kirito's voice actor is Shindo's.
I could see
Weirdly
that. I
enough,
could see that.
but I love him as a character. I think his quirk's really cool, and I like this fight versus Gang Orca and what little he got to do there. So it's really cool to see him fight, quote unquote, here. But I think that what's most important is that he earned a bit of these guys' respect who weren't going to budge from where they are, and then Shindo stood up for them, proved what he was saying was true, that you don't want to fuck around with these villains like who are trying to kill, not trying to just rob you or take a couple bucks from you. They're
Yeah,
trying
like
to kill you.
bloodshed.
Yeah.
And that's even what Muscular was saying.
It's interesting because in that case, Shindo instilled more hope in a weird way and more belief than Deku did. Deku got the job done, and because he got the job done, they're alive, sure. But it was Shindo's actions and talking previously that led these
Created
people to
a
carry him out.
relationship. There
Yeah.
created a connection from him speaking to these people and then them seeing what he did and then choosing to aid him
Yeah.
and get a car for him and drive him probably to the hospital.
Interesting.
There's still that like it's interesting to see that kind of that paradoxical reaction of them being like, no, why would we trust heroes, and like super harsh back to Shindo as he's speaking to them, to that we didn't want you to die, like,
Yeah.
and helping each other out. Like it's what it shows is that even though times are in this chaotic place that they've never been in before, where it's people are dying, people are mad at the heroes, it doesn't mean that morality has completely gone out of the window and people don't want to help other people.
It's just they don't really know what way will work the best
And
at the
and who
moment.
they can actually trust. Like unfortunately, a lot of these people probably gave money and put trust into heroes that have run away and or were not as great as they were led to believe they were. Hence Stain's kind of morale, like his like beliefs on heroes.
Yeah.
And they're probably just sick of trusting other people with their problems, and I can totally understand them being like, I trust myself, and so I'm gonna defend myself because I trust myself.
I wonder why we were given Shindo recognizing Deku, other than it being like, oh, it's cool that like someone knows. I wonder if he's gonna be the through line to Class 1A, like figuring out where Deku is or what he's doing or what his like signs are that he's, like what abilities he's using.
That, or it's just gonna be something that happens throughout this whole new arc of Deku not being at the school anymore,
Yeah.
and we just have different characters that we have seen in the past either recognize his abilities, be saved by him, something along those lines.
I love the idea that All Might left with him. Like, I think that that's really powerful.
He said he was gonna raise him.
Yeah.
So now he's doing it.
What do you think of En's quirk?
Okay, so I definitely thought that N would be next, because if you think about it, we have all the quirks of all the people sitting other than N.
I just didn't think it was going to happen so quick.
I just did not think that we were going to get a jump in time. I mean, it makes sense because N was obviously a part of the cooperating team that was sitting in their chairs last episode. So I guess it makes sense now to me that it would be very soon that he would get that quirk.
Like the ability to talk like in those like in that ease of moment though too. It's crazy.
I would still like to try to understand what kind of how much Deku can use the smoke screen. I think there was talk when he was running with N where N was like, it's super powerful because it's been building up within other people. You should probably like hold back on it a little bit.
And it's like he's not mastered this solo ability to be able to use it to its maximum potential. So I'm trying to think like, okay, when N had this quirk, I remember the villain in the like forest attack in season 3 who was able to like have like a tornado of smoke, like poisonous toxin going around. He could also gauge feeling and movement within that smoke. Remember?
Yeah.
I wonder if N smokescreen has a similar concept, because like if all you can do is emit smoke and you can't like have any directional feeling like from that smoke, then it's still a pretty crazy quirk, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be even harder to fight if you were just N without any other quirk. Then all you have is like low visibility on your side.
Here's a question. Why would Deku want to have a level of anonymity if Shigaraki could find him with search? Like, what are the pluses to having the anonymity here of the smokescreen?
I think it's a like, other than during actual fights.
Other than during actual fights, like he could have shown his face to the police and dropped Muscular on the doorstep. If
you know it's Deku, if any villain finds out that it's Deku and is not caught, they can transmit that back to other villains, and then they can try to target certain people. I don't know, because they already know. It's a good point.
Like, he's already away from the people that he's worried about getting hurt through him, because he knows Shigaraki could find him no matter where he is. So is it just he wants to capture all of the other villains? So it's like, and he's being used as bait by the main heroes, Hawks, Best Jeanist, Endeavor, All Might. This whole team up is kind of using Deku as bait.
It's a good question.
So it's like,
yeah, I don't know.
And he was using smokescreen when he saved Shindo, and that she was like, "Who is that? His voice sounds familiar." So I do wonder what the anonymity actually is doing it for him.
Maybe he's like, oh, I want to come off as a badass to everyone. Like, I know, like, I'm joking there, but I'm not sure. It obviously makes him look fucking cool. And
yeah, I mean, it looks awesome, and it's good in battle.
Yeah. But like in the whole turning over to the police, like, what is? I don't know. It's difficult. But maybe
does he not want the world and the media to know that this person is?
Just because they know One for All is a thing, it doesn't mean they know who has it. If the general public knows who have it, they might feel scared to be around UA students in general, or around Deku's mom.
Okay.
Maybe that's my best guess.
Yeah. But the whole reason he left the school was so those people wouldn't be targeted. But what about hostages? Like, people do ransom all the time.
Yeah.
So it could be the villains. It might lead villains to attack UA just to get Deku to come there, right?
Yes, but you could make the argument there that, okay, well, the villains could have been told by All for One who Deku is and where his friends are. So I'm thinking it's more about the public who don't know the whole situation of Deku and who has One for All,
That it's probably just better to keep it as a mask to instill hope.
Maybe.
Than to know that it's
a good question.
Because, I mean, if you were saved by him, or he was going to fight for you, and then you found out that he was still a student. There's some slight disrespect to Shindo at the beginning of this episode, because, they sent students, not even, like, heroes.
Yeah.
That sort of energy, that maybe it's also to make sure that people trust in him more because they don't actually know who he is, and it's easier to trust in him.
Yeah. I don't know.
For his abilities and not anything else.
Did you ever watch the first My Hero movie?
I watched one of them. I don't know which one it was.
It would have to be the first one, I feel like. And
it was in the movie theater, I know that.
Yeah. I would think it's the first one, but they had went to an island.
Yes, it was the island.
Yeah,
okay,
so
yes,
they had like a support gear that was quite similar to the one that Deku used here, which was a really cool idea. I like that they got it from the US. It's still another like breadcrumb for me that there has to be heroes from other countries at some point to come help.
Didn't we get told that some had come?
I thought that they had silhouettes and that they had to like push through like paper.
They were trying to get
tape,
visas
right?
and permissions and stuff.
Exactly.
To come. So I do think that also opens up even more evidence that possibly we'll be getting a hero at some point that's probably from like America.
I believe that the person who made the supports in the movie was from America, because that's where All Might met his a support like sidekick, and then it was his daughter. So I believe that it's from America. So that could just be like an Easter egg there for it.
Yeah.
My last thing really is the whole idea of Gran Torino suggesting that they're are some people you have to kill in order to save them.
I know that we both wrote that down. As soon as it was said, I could like sense that your arm was moving too, as mine was, and I was like, yep, we both thought that was a good line.
You know, want to know why it's such a good line to me? Is because it's not something we already have been told or something that we don't know. Because last episode we were given the idea of killing somebody to like you have to do it to save everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But killing somebody to save themselves is different. It's a more nuanced like take.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Deku wants to save Shigaraki, and if killing him is, if Deku could see it as saving him, then that would give more credence to the idea of Shigaraki dying.
There's also the layered idea of something else that was in last episode about killing a villain, was Hawks, you know, killing twice.
Yeah.
And the general population was not happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Was not happy seeing Hawks, a hero, kill someone. Because they believed that, like, in, like, the justice system, you know, the hero captures and defeats the villain, then the villain gets locked up in whatever prison they should get locked up for however many years they should be locked up for whatever crime they did. And so that adds another layer of, like, Deku's kind of starting to get permission in some way, maybe giving himself permission to kill if needed, if that is the way you actually save someone.
I still couldn't see it happening.
I still, you know, if he was face to face with Shigaraki, and he sees the crying boy in there and he hears the crying boy in there,
I literally it could get down to the only narrative through point I would think would exist for Deku to do it, which is Shigaraki not having any ounce of hope to control his own will and body anymore, and his last plea being, okay, well, at least don't let him use my body for it. And even if that came to be, I still don't think Deku would kill Shigaraki. Even if that came to be. I really don't. I think he'd still try to find another way.
If he's... So the idea of vessels, I mean, they both can understand the idea of vessels, and if Shigaraki got to a point where he felt like he could no longer have any autonomy at all, and he could have no control over his body, and he did not want to be used for this purpose anymore.
Yeah.
I think with this... I think we're at a starting point for being able to believe that Deku would be able to do it. I mean, the tone and the maturity and the calm that we saw here from Deku in this episode, not only in fighting, but then handling his mother's emotions and comforting her.
Yeah.
That we're seeing a version of him that we aren't totally used to.
Yeah.
So I think maybe this would be a starting point to he would be able to do what he needs to do to save people.
No matter the cost.
Well, I mean, Gran Torino said it, and
Yeah.
Gran Torino's not the type of character that's like, yeah, kill people,
Dude,
you know?
I love Gran Torino so much. I am so glad that Deku, like, talked to him a bit before he left, and I love that Gran Torino kind of, like, didn't even, like, he kind of respected it. You could tell that he was like, okay, this is my 2 cents. Go on, you know? Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Good episode.
Get the scarf added to the outfit.
You know what? It'd probably do me a benefit if I rewatched the entire series up until this point. You like had like a catch up pretty quick before this series started.
What, like season 4, 5, and 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5.
Mine's been so disjointed and so far away, and like it was like 4 or 5 years ago when I first watched. So it's like I wish that I still had that like resonance like and freshness in my mind. So maybe I might go back and rewatch a bit.
I kind of felt that when I started season 3, because I had originally watched season 1 and season 2 like when they aired.
Yeah.
And then I was playing catch up with 3, 4, and 5 right before we started season 6. And I was kind of like, wait, what happened in season 2?
Also, like watching a show by yourself in a room and like binging it is much different than watching each episode and being able to talk about it. Like especially with you. And I wish that we were able to do that. I wish we started AutoSave sooner. I wish we could have started with My Hero.
So long ago.
I know. Didn't even know each other.
Would have been good, though.
Yeah, it would have been good.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next time.